framed, haunted, betrayed. One lie ruins Gloria's empire. And the only person she can run to is the one who once broke her. But is he here to rescue her or finish what he started? Will trusting him save her life or end it? The audio pages present the architect of hearts. Chapter 1: The Blueprint of Disruption. The air conditioning in the Glass World conference room on the top floor of the Zenith Towers in Victoria Island hummed a low, monotonous tune, but it did little to cool the heat rising in Gloria Okeke's chest. She smoothed the skirt of her navy blue dress suit, a nervous habit she had developed since taking over as the lead project manager for The Haven, a multi-billion naira Christian retreat center being built on the outskirts of Ekpe. Gloria, as she was known, checked her wristwatch. 9:15 a.m. The new consultant from the London branch was 15 minutes late. In Lagos, lateness was a culture, but in Gloria's boardroom, it was a sin. "He's probably stuck in traffic on the Lekki-Ikoyi Link Bridge," whispered Tolu, her assistant, who was nervously tapping a pen against her notepad. "I heard the traffic this morning is demonic." "Traffic is not an excuse for lack of professionalism, Tolu," Gloria replied, her voice crisp. She closed her eyes for a brief second, whispering a silent prayer. "Lord, grant me patience. I have worked too hard on this project for a stranger to come and disrupt my flow." Gloria was 32, single, and fiercely protective of her reputation. As the daughter of Motsi Okeke, a man whose business had collapsed under the weight of a public embezzlement scandal 5 years ago, Gloria had spent every waking moment trying to scrub the stain off her family name with excellence and integrity. She built walls around her heart and her career, walls as high as the skyscrapers she designed. Suddenly, the heavy mahogany door swung open. The room went silent. The man who walked in didn't look like a consultant, he looked like trouble wrapped in a bespoke charcoal gray suit. He was tall, with broad shoulders that filled the door frame, and a complexion the color of deep mahogany. He held a leather briefcase in one hand and a takeaway cup of coffee in the other. But it was his face that made the breath catch in Gloria's throat. The sharp jawline, the neatly trimmed beard, and the eyes she hadn't seen in 7 years. "Good morning, everyone," his voice boomed, rich and confident, with a polished British accent layering over his Nigerian roots. "Apologies for the delay. My driver insisted on a shortcut that turned out to be a long cut." He placed the coffee on the table and looked directly at Gloria. A spark of recognition, followed by a flicker of something unreadable, regret. Amusement flashed in his eyes. "Kola." Gloria whispered, the name slipping out before she could stop it. "Kola Bayo," he corrected smoothly, extending a hand. "It's been a long time, Gloria." The boardroom erupted in murmurs. Kola Bayo. The prodigal son of the Bayo construction dynasty. The last Gloria had heard, he was living a wild life in London, far away from the church and the business. What was he doing here? And why was he wearing a cross lapel pin? "You know each other," the chairman, Chief Badmus, asked, looking between them. "We went to university together," Gloria managed to say, ignoring Kola's hand. She couldn't touch him. If she did, she might remember the pain of how he left without a goodbye, right after he promised her forever. "I wasn't aware you were the consultant, Mr. Bayo." "I prefer Kola," he said, retracting his hand with a small, tight smile. "And yes, my father thought it was time I returned home to handle the family's more sensitive projects. I've reviewed the blueprints for The Haven." He didn't sit down. He walked over to the large screen where Gloria's render was displayed. "It's a beautiful design, Gloria. Truly. But it's structurally flawed." Gloria stood up, her chair scraping loudly against the floor. "Excuse me. That design has passed 3 stages of vetting. By engineers on your payroll," Kola said calmly. "But I've been looking at the soil samples from the Ekpe site. The foundation you've proposed won't hold up against the swamp alignment in 5 years. You're building a sanctuary on sinking sand." The spiritual metaphor stung more than the professional critique. "I know my job, Kola. And I know the scriptures. I don't need you to quote them to me." "I'm not quoting scripture, I'm quoting geology," Kola shot back, his eyes hardening. If you proceed with this pour next week, the building will crack before the roof is on. We need to halt construction. Halt construction. Gloria gasped. Do you know the cost implications? The church investors will pull out. Better they pull out than the building falls on them, Kola said, his voice dropping an octave. I am here to ensure integrity, Gloria. Can you say the same? The meeting dissolved into chaos. Arguments flew back and forth, but Kola remained immovable. Chief Badmus eventually sided with the money, looking worried, but Kola pulled a trump card. His father's company was the primary guarantor. If Kola said stop, they stopped. 2 hours later, Gloria stormed into her office, shaking with rage. She slammed the door and leaned against it, breathing hard. How dare he? He comes back after 7 years, born again or whatever he claims to be, and tries to destroy her career on day one. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Meet me at the parking lot. We need to talk about the real reason I'm here. K. Gloria scoffed and threw the phone on her desk. She wasn't going anywhere with him. She sat down to review the soil reports again, determined to prove him wrong. She pulled the physical files from her safe, the ones her uncle, the site supervisor, had sent over yesterday. She opened the folder. The soil analysis report was there, signed and stamped. But as she flipped the page, a loose sheet of paper fluttered out. It wasn't a geology report. It was a bank transfer receipt. A transfer of 50 million naira. From the project account to an account named Okeke Holdings. Gloria's blood ran cold. Okeke Holdings was her father's old frozen shell company. But her father was in the village, recovering from a stroke. He couldn't have accessed this. Who had reactivated the account? And why was 50 million naira stolen from the church project under her watch? The door to her office clicked open. Gloria jumped, shoving the paper under the fire. It was Kola. He had bypassed her secretary. He locked the door behind him and closed the blinds. Get out, Gloria warned, her voice trembling. I can't, Kola said, his face stripped of the arrogance from the boardroom. He looked tired, and strangely, frightened. Gloria, listen to me. I didn't stop the construction because of the soil. Then why? He walked closer, lowering his voice to a whisper. Because I found a discrepancy in the ledger 2 days ago. Someone is siphoning money from the Haven project to fund a gubernatorial campaign. I stopped the work to freeze the accounts before they drain it dry. Gloria felt the paper under her hand burn like fire. And, Kola continued, his eyes searching hers with intensity, all the digital footprints point to you. Gloria stared at him, her mouth open. Me? You think I know you didn't, Kola cut in. I know you, Gloria. You are righteous to a fault. But someone is framing you perfectly. And if we don't find out who it is by the next audit on Friday, you're going to prison for fraud. Gloria stared at Kola, the weight of his words crashing down on her. Before she could respond, a heavy knock pounded on her office door. Miss Okeke. It was the voice of Detective Bologun from the EFCC, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Open up. We have a warrant to search this office regarding the misappropriated funds for the Haven project. Gloria looked at Kola in panic. The incriminating receipt was right under her hand. If they found it, it was over. Kola's eyes widened. He grabbed the hand. Do you trust me? I don't know, she stammered. You have to, he whispered. He grabbed the file containing the receipt, shoved it into his jacket, and pointed to the window. We are on the 2nd floor. The fire escape is right there. Run. Chapter 2, The Feast of Pharisees. The humid Lagos air hit Gloria like a physical blow as she scrambled down the rusted metal of the fire escape. Her heels clicked loudly against the iron, echoing in the alleyway behind Zenith Towers. Her heart was hammering a rhythm of pure terror against her ribs. Run. Run. She reached the ground just as the sound of sirens wailed from the front of the building. She didn't look back. She sprinted toward the side street where the tricycles were queued up. "Obolende," she shouted, diving into the back of a tricycle before the driver could even agree on a price. As the tricycle sputtered into the chaotic traffic, Gloria clutched her purse, her mind racing. She was a fugitive. An hour ago, she was a respected architect. Now, she was running from the EFCC. And Kola. He had stayed behind. He had the fire. Why? Was he truly trying to save her, or was this part of a twisted game to finish what he started 7 years ago, destroying her completely? Her phone vibrated. It was Kola. "Don't go home. They will be waiting. Go to the safe house. 44 Admiralty Way. The key is under the mat. It's my private apartment. No one knows about it. I'll come when I can." Gloria stared at the screen. Trusting Kola Bayo was historically a bad idea. But she had no choice. 6 hours later, Gloria was pacing the floor of a sleek, minimalist apartment in Lekki. It smelled of cola, cedarwood and old paper. On the coffee table lay a Bible, open to Psalm 91. It seemed Kola wasn't just wearing the cross pin for show. The lock beeped. Gloria froze, grabbing a heavy brass vase as a weapon. The door opened, and Kola slipped in, looking disheveled. His tie was gone, and his shirt was unbuttoned at the top. He looked exhausted. "Put the vase down, Gloria," he said softly, locking the door and engaging the deadbolt. "Did they arrest you?" she asked, not lowering the vase. "No. They searched your office. They found nothing implicating because the file is in my car," Kola said, walking to the fridge to grab a bottle of water. "But they are freezing your accounts. And your father's." "My father?" Gloria's voice cracked. "If they drag him into this, the shock will kill him, Kola. He's already frail." "We won't let that happen," Kola said, turning to her. He took a step forward, and she stepped back. He stopped, holding up his hands. "Gloria, I am on your side. I came back to Lagos because I found Jesus 3 years ago in a hotel room in Dubai. I'm not the same boy who broke your heart to chase models in London. God changed me. And when I saw the discrepancies in the company accounts pointing to you, I knew it was a lie. I requested the transfer to clear your name." Gloria lowered the vase slowly. She searched his eyes and saw a sincerity that terrified her. "Who is doing this, Kola?" "I don't know yet," he admitted. "But tonight, there is a charity gala at the Eco Hotel. All the major stakeholders of the Haven project will be there. The investors, the board, and your Uncle Chike." "Uncle Chike?" Gloria frowned. "He's the site supervisor. His family. He got me this job." "Exactly," Kola said grimly. "And he's the only other person with the authorization codes to move that money. We need to go to that gala." "Are you crazy? The police are looking for me." "Not at a math ball," Kola said, pulling a box from behind the sofa. "It's a masquerade team. Faces of Fate. Irony, isn't it? I bought you a dress and a mask on my way here." The Eco Hotel ballroom was a sea of silk, velvet, and feathers. The air smelled of expensive perfume and jollof rice. A live band played a jazzy rendition of Amazing Grace. Gloria felt exposed despite the heavy gold mask covering the upper half of her face. She wore a flowing emerald green gown Kola had chosen. It fit perfectly, which annoyed her. Kola was by her side, wearing a black tuxedo and a silver mask. He held her arm, not possessively, but protectively. "Keep your head up," he whispered near her ear. "You are innocent. Walk like a daughter of the king." His words bolstered her spirit. They moved through the crowd, nodding to people who didn't recognize the fugitive in their midst. "There," Kola nudged her. In the corner, near the chocolate fountain, stood Uncle Chike. He wasn't looking at the guest. He was in a heated argument with a man Gloria recognized, Chief Badmus, the chairman. "Let's get closer," Gloria whispered. They maneuvered behind a large floral arrangement. "The girl is gone, Badmus." Uncle Chike hissed. The EFCC raid scared her off. She's probably halfway to Benin Republic by now. We can pin it all on her and close the account. And the 50 million? Badmus asked, sipping his champagne nervously. Already moved to the offshore account. We just need to make sure Kola doesn't dig deeper. That boy is too sharp for his own good. We might need to arrange an accident for him if he persists. Gloria gasped. Her hand flew to her mouth. Her own uncle. The man who taught her how to ride a bicycle. The man who paid her school fees when her father went bankrupt. Kola stiffened beside her. He had heard it too. We need to leave, Kola whispered urgently. We have the confession. We need to record them. Gloria fumbled for her phone in her clutch. Her hands were shaking. She pressed record and held it through the leaves. Don't worry about Kola, Uncle Chike was saying. I tampered with the brakes on his SUV this evening. He won't make it home. Gloria's blood froze. They had driven here in Kola's SUV. Kola, she whispered, turning to him. Your car. But before Kola could respond, a hand clamped down on Gloria's shoulder. I thought I recognized that perfume, a voice sneered behind them. They spun around. It was Detective Baligan. He wasn't wearing a mask. And he wasn't smiling. Behind him stood two armed officers. Gloria Okeke, Baligan said loudly, silencing the nearby guests. You are under arrest for corporate embezzlement. Kola stepped in front of her. Officer, you are making a mistake. We have evidence, save it for the judge, Mr. Bayo, Baligan spat. He looked at Uncle Chike, who had walked over, feigning shock. Gloria. Uncle Chike cried out, he's acting Oscar-worthy. Oh, my daughter. How could you steal from God? I tried to cover for you, but I couldn't stop the police. Gloria stared at her uncle, betrayal slicing through her heart deeper than any knife. Cuff her, Baligan ordered. As the officer reached for Gloria, Kola made a split-second decision. He shoved the officer backward into the chocolate fountain, creating a scene of chaos. Run, Gloria. The service exit, he screamed. I'm not leaving you, she cried, grabbing his arm. You have to. They will kill you in custody before the trial. Kola yelled. Suddenly, a gunshot rang out. Bang. The ballroom screamed. The chandelier above them shattered. Gloria felt a sharp, burning sensation in her side. She looked down. The emerald green dress was turning dark red. She looked up at Kola, her vision blurring. Kola. She collapsed into his arms as the world went black. Chapter 3, The Valley of the Shadow. The world was a haze of antiseptic smells and the rhythmic beeping of machines. Gloria floated in and out of consciousness. She heard voices. Bullet passed through the fleshy part of the hip. She lost blood, but no vital organs hit. We can't keep her here, Kola. The police are checking all hospitals. She is not going to jail, doctor. I'll move her to the private clinic. Do it now. When Gloria finally opened her eyes fully, she wasn't in a hospital room. She was in a room with wooden walls and a ceiling fan spinning lazily. The sound of waves crashing against the shore was audible through the window. She tried to sit up and winced. Her side was bandaged heavily. Easy, easy, Kola's voice came from the corner. He was sitting in a cane chair, reading his Bible. He looked like he hadn't slept in 3 days. Stubble covered his jaw, and his eyes were red-rimmed. Where are we? Gloria rasped. My family's beach house, Kola said, coming over to pour her water. It's abandoned. No one looks here. You've been out for 2 days. Gloria drank the water greedily. Then the memories flooded back. The gala. The gunshot. Uncle Chike. Did you record them? She asked. Kola shook his head grimly. In the chaos, your phone fell. Baligan took it as evidence. We lost the recording. Gloria fell back against the pillows, tears leaking from her eyes. So it's over. I'm a fugitive, I'm shot, and I have no proof. We have God, Kola said, his voice firm. He sat on the edge of the bed. Gloria, listen to me. While you were sleeping, I did some digging. Uncle Chak isn't working alone. He's working for a shadow syndicate that uses church construction projects to launder money. They threatened my father yesterday. Your father? Yes. They told him if I didn't back off, they would release evidence that creates a scandal about my past life in London that would ruin the company. They are trying to blackmail us into silence. Gloria looked at him. Kola, you don't have to do this. You can walk away. Go back to London. This is my mess. Kola reached out and took her hand. His skin was warm, rough, and comforting. It's not your mess, Gloria. It's our fight. 7 years ago, I ran away because I was a coward. I loved you, but I was afraid of the commitment, afraid I wasn't good enough for a good Christian girl like you. So I ran to sin. But God brought me back. He didn't bring me back to run again. I am staying. I am fighting for you. Because. He paused, looking down at their joined hands. Because. Gloria whispered, her heart beating fast despite the pain. Because I never stopped loving you, Kola said, looking up, his soul bared in his eyes. And I won't let them destroy the woman who holds my heart. Gloria wept. For the first time in years, the walls crumbled. She squeezed his hand. I'm scared, Kola. I know. But though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, he quoted softly. We need a plan. The laptop, Gloria said suddenly, sitting up and ignoring the pain. Uncle Chak keeps a backup of everything. He's paranoid. He has a physical ledger. He keeps it in the safe at the construction site office. The site is crawling with police, Kola said. Not the main office, Gloria said, her mind sharpening. The old container office behind the generator house. He thinks no one knows he uses it. But I saw him there once. Kola stood up. I'll go. No, Gloria said, swinging her legs off the bed. We go. I know the code. You don't. You are shot, Gloria. And I am fighting for my life. I can walk. Help me up. Night had fallen by the time they reached the construction site of the haven. The skeletal structure of the retreat center loomed against the moonlight like a giant ribcage. They parked the car a mile away and walked through the bush path. Gloria leaned heavily on Kola, biting her lip to keep from crying out in pain. There, she pointed. A rusted shipping container sat in the shadows of the massive diesel generator. They crept forward. The site was eerily quiet. The police guard was asleep in the front booth, far away from this section. Gloria punched the code into the rusty keypad on the container door. 1-9-6-0, her father's birth year. Uncle Chak lacked imagination. The lock clicked. They slipped inside. Kola turned on a small flashlight. The container was a mess of papers and blueprints. Gloria went straight to a loose floorboard under the desk. Move this, she instructed. Kola pried the board open. Beneath it lay a black hard drive and a thick notebook. Got it, Kola whispered, triumph in his voice. He grabbed the items. Let's go. They turned to leave, but the door of the container suddenly slammed shut. The sound of a heavy metal latch sliding into place echoed from the outside. Kola. Gloria screamed, pounding on the metal. Well, Uncle Chak's voice came from outside, muffled but clear. I knew you would come. You are too smart for your own good, Gloria. Uncle. Open this door. Gloria yelled. I can't do that, my dear, Chak replied calmly. You see, there has been a terrible accident. A gas leak from the generator. A spark. Tragic. 2 lovers, hiding out, caught in an explosion. Gloria sniffed the air. A sharp, Hissing sound filled the small space. The smell of gasoline and cooking gas began to permeate the container. "He's pumping gas in," Kola said, panic rising in his voice. He threw his shoulder against the door. It didn't budge. "Say hello to your father for me, Gloria," Chuck laughed. Footsteps receded. Then, the sound of a match being struck against the metal wall outside. "Kola, we are going to die," Gloria cried, coughing as the fumes grew thicker. Kola looked around frantically. There were no windows. Only solid steel. He grabbed Gloria and pulled her to the floor, covering her with his body. He pulled out his phone, no signal inside the metal box. "Pray, Gloria," Kola choked out. "Pray." Outside, a whoosh sound was heard as the fire caught the fuel trail leading to the container. The metal walls began to heat up instantly. Inside, Kola spotted something in the corner, an acetylene torch left by welders. "The floor!" Kola yelled, grabbing the torch. "The floor is wood on top of the chassis. If I can cut through the bottom." He lit the torch. The blue flame roared to life. But the heat in the room was already unbearable. The fire outside was roaring. "Kola!" Gloria screamed as the paint on the walls began to blister and peel. "Hold on," he yelled, cutting into the floor. Suddenly, a massive explosion rocked the container, throwing them both into darkness. Chapter 4: The Fire and the Rain. Silence. Then, the sound of coughing. Gloria woke up with dirt in her mouth. She was lying in mud. Rain was falling on her face. Cold, beautiful rain. She sat up, gasping. She was under the container. The explosion had blown the door off, but Kola had managed to cut a hole in the rusted floor just seconds before the blast. They had dropped into the crawl space beneath the container as the fireball consumed the room above. "Kola," she croaked. "I'm here," a voice groaned from the mud beside her. Kola was alive, but his shirt was singed, and his arm was badly burned. He was clutching the black hard drive against his chest like a lifeline. We made it," Gloria sobbed, crawling over to him. "Grace," Kola whispered, wincing as he sat up. That was only God. The fire was raging above them, the orange glow illuminating the rain. The sound of the explosion must have woken the whole town. "We have to move before the police get here," Kola said, struggling to his feet. "They will think we are dead. That buys us time." They stumbled into the thick bush surrounding the site. They walked for what felt like hours, fueled only by adrenaline and the terror of being haunted. By dawn, they reached a small roadside mechanic shop. Kola used the last of his cash to bribe a mechanic to let them use an old landline phone. "Who are you calling?" Gloria asked, shivering in her wet, dirty clothes. "The only person in the world who has more power than the people chasing us," Kola said. "My father." Chief Bayo was a hard man. A man of timber and caliber. But when he walked into the dingy motel room where Kola and Gloria were hiding 2 hours later, he looked like a frightened father. "Kola Bayo." The older man embraced his son, ignoring the soot and smell. He looked at Gloria. "Gloria. I am so sorry. I didn't know how deep the rot went." "Do you have the drive?" Chief Bayo asked. Kola handed it over. "It's all there. Chike, Badmus, the politicians they are laundering money for. It proves Gloria is innocent. I will take this to the Inspector General myself," Chief Bayo swore. "He is my golf partner. He is not corrupt. But you two need to disappear until the arrests are made. It is too dangerous." "No," Gloria said, standing up. Her pain was gone, replaced by a cold resolve. "I am done running, Chief. They tried to burn me alive. If I hide, I look guilty. I want to walk into that EFCC office myself." "Gloria, that's suicide," Kola argued. "No, Kola. It's fate," she said, looking at him. "Scripture says the wicked flee when no one pursues, but the righteous are bold as a lion. I have the truth. I have you. And I have God. I am going back." Kola stared at her. The admiration in his eyes was blinding. He turned to his father. Call the press. Call every news station in Lagos. If we go in with the whole world watching. The scene at the EFCC headquarters in Ekpe was a circus. Cameras flashed, reporters shouted questions. Gloria and Kola walked out of Chief Bayo's armored G-Wagon, hand in hand. They looked battered, bandages visible, clothes stained, but they held their heads high. As they approached the entrance, Detective Baligan stepped out, a smug smile on his face. Back from the dead. Baligan sneered. Handcuff them. Not today, Baligan, a booming voice came from behind. The Inspector General of Police, IG, stepped out, flanked by armed specialized units. He held the hard drive in his hand. Detective Baligan, the IG said calmly, "You are relieved of duty. We have scrutinized the drive. We have the audio logs of your calls with Mr. Okeke. We know about the bribe." Baligan's face went grey. "Arrest him," the IG ordered. As Baligan was dragged away, shouting curses, another police van pulled up. Uncle Chike was pulled out in handcuffs. He looked at Gloria, his eyes full of hate. "You think you won?" Chike spat as he was led past her. "You think this is over? The people I work for, they don't forgive. You will never be safe." Gloria looked him in the eye. "My safety is not in your hands, uncle. It never was." It felt like a victory. The press went wild. Kola squeezed her hand. "It's over, Gloria." But as they turned to leave, Gloria felt a wave of dizziness. The adrenaline was wearing off, and the infection from her gunshot wound was setting in. She stumbled. Kola caught her. "Gloria." "I'm tired, Kola," she whispered. She collapsed. The screen faded to black for Gloria. She woke up 3 days later in a sterile, white hospital room. The sun was shining. Kola was there, sleeping in a chair. She smiled weakly. They had won. But then, the door opened. A doctor walked in, looking grave. "Miss Okeke, you're awake," he said softly. He glanced at Kola, who was stirring awake. "Doctor, how is she?" Kola asked, jumping up. "She is stable," the doctor said, wringing his hands. "The infection is cleared. But, during the surgery to repair the hip and clean the wound, we found something else." "What?" Gloria asked, fear gripping her throat. "The toxicity from the fumes you inhaled in the container, combined with the blood loss." The doctor paused. "Gloria, I am sorry. The damage to your uterus is extensive. It is highly unlikely you will ever be able to conceive children." Gloria felt the room spin. In a Nigerian context, in a traditional marriage, this was a death sentence for a relationship. She looked at Kola. The heir to the Bayo dynasty. The man who needed an heir. Kola stood frozen, his face unreadable. Gloria turned her face to the wall, tears sliding silently down her cheeks. The fire hadn't killed her, but it had taken her future. Chapter 5, Beauty for Ashes. For 2 weeks, Gloria refused to see Kola. She stayed in her father's house, which had been returned to them after the investigation cleared their name. Her father, Mosi Okeke, though frail, was overjoyed to have his honor restored, but he watched his daughter with deep sadness. Gloria spent her days in the garden, staring at the hibiscus flowers. She felt broken. Not by the law, but by biology. She knew Kola loved her. But she also knew the pressure of a family like the Bayos. He needed a legacy. She would not be the one to deny him that. She loved him enough to let him go. "He is at the gate again, Gloria," her father said gently, walking into the garden with his cane. "He has been there every day for 14 days. Even in the rain." "Tell him to go away, Papa," Gloria whispered. "I cannot," Mosi Okeke said. "Because he says he is not leaving until he speaks to you. He says he will set up a tent and live at our gate. The neighbors are starting to talk." Gloria sighed. She couldn't embarrass him further. Fine. Let him in. Kola walked into the garden. He looked thinner, but his eyes were bright. He didn't say a word. He walked straight to her, knelt on the grass, and placed a small velvet box on her lap. Kola, stand up, Gloria said, her voice shaking. You know what the doctor said? I heard the doctor, Kola said calm. But I haven't heard from God that we are finished. Kola, be realistic. Gloria cried, standing up and throwing the box onto the grass. I am barren. I cannot give you a son. I cannot give the Bayo family an heir. Do you know what your mother will say? Do you know what society will say? I don't care about society. Kola shouted back, standing up. I don't care about the dynasty. Gloria, look at me. He grabbed her shoulders. When I was in the fire with you, I didn't pray for a son. I didn't pray for a legacy. I prayed for you. Just you. You are the miracle. You are the blessing. But, no buts, Kola interrupted. Scripture says children are a heritage from the Lord. It doesn't say they have to come from your womb. There are thousands of children in Lagos right now praying for parents. The Haven, the project we fought for. It's an orphanage and retreat center, Gloria. Maybe that is our legacy. To build a home for the unwanted. Gloria stared at him. The logic of his love was overwhelming. It defied culture. It defied tradition. It was purely Christ-like. You would adopt, she whispered. I would adopt a whole football team if it means I get to wake up next to you every day, Kola smiled, tears in his eyes. He bent down and picked up the box from the grass. He opened it. It wasn't a diamond ring. It was a simple gold band, engraved with a reference, Isaiah 61 verse 3. To give them beauty for ashes, Kola recited. Gloria, our love has been through the fire. It has been through the ash. Let God make it beautiful. Will you marry me? Gloria looked at the ring. She looked at the man who had faced fire, bullets, and public shame for her. Yes, she sobbed, collapsing into his arms. Yes, Kola. Yes. The dedication of the Haven was the event of the year. The building stood tall and white against the blue Ekpe sky, a testament to resilience. Gloria stood on the podium, cutting the ribbon. She was Mrs. Bayo now. She glowed with a happiness that radiated from the inside out. Kola stood beside her, his hand on her waist. And now, the MC announced, we have a special dedication. Gloria took the microphone. Many of you know the story of this building. It was built on a battlefield. But today, it is a place of peace. She gestured to the front row. A little boy, about 5 years old, with big bright eyes, was sitting there, waving at them. He was holding a toy truck. This is Daniel, Gloria said, her voice emotional. He is the first resident of the Haven. And, the adoption papers were finalized this morning. He is our son. The crowd erupted in cheers. Kola walked down the steps and scooped Daniel up, hugging him tight. He brought the boy up to the stage. Gloria hugged them both. She looked out at the crowd, then up at the sky. She remembered the fear in the boardroom. The terror in the shipping container. The despair in the hospital room. God had used every broken piece. She leaned into the microphone one last time. Don't be afraid of the fire, she said, her voice ringing clear. Because that is where the gold is refined. She kissed her husband, held her son, and smiled. The architect of hearts had finished his masterpiece. Thank you for listening. If you like this audio recording, kindly like the video and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our audio recordings.